sportschatplace.com and pickdogs.com. It's Friday, May 29th, 2020, and this is our live show. You know, really, what I noticed is that about a month ago or so, I did a video saying, yeah, I'm going to do videos when things start updating. And it's like now I can't even think about doing a video. And I know that, once I start doing them, it's like riding a bike and I'll be, I'll have no problem. I do more videos on YouTube than anybody, right? So it's like, I know once I get back in the swing of it, but it's like my studio here where I'd shoot the videos totally looks different, than it used to look. And, it's just a totally different setup. So we'll have to figure it out when we're doing it. But I promise that there will be, as we always do, just as many, if not more, YouTube videos than we've ever done. Covering some new sports at Sports Chat Place and Pick Dogs, and also a lot higher concentration on some of the sports that we already covered. So one of the things that we covered, like soccer, was always a thing that we covered, and it was something that we covered in pretty big detail at one point, and then we kind of reeled in our soccer coverage because, I don't know, not as many people were interested in soccer, so I figured I would rather have writers concentrate on things that more people cared about. And now all of a sudden, all the soccer leagues are the ones that are saying, we're going to play. And, these are the same guys that invented the dive, right? They're the ones saying they're going to play. And it's like, it's Blake Snell that doesn't want to play and Rob Brindamore, right? So, I'm going to start doing videos again. And I'm going to start doing spread knowledge shows as well. My schedule is going to change a little bit. I'm changing my golfing schedule, and I'm going to change my surfing schedule. I'm going to surf and golf now back again. I'm going to take up my game too. Instead of just golfing or surfing every day, I'm going to surf and golf every day. And I'm going to do more shows than ever and more videos than ever. And we're going to bring you more content than ever. And I'll tell you what, we're not going to take vacation or break like all the other guys did. We're just going to bring it and bring it and bring it and bring it. And this way, when it all comes back, it's going to be just fit right into the flow that we've already created here. So I'm on a mission from God. Anyways, yesterday I was talking to Apple Computers trying to return this iMac that I bought and try and, ask them to maybe help me out a little bit since it was their error that I got this thing. And there's a month lead time on a replacement computer. And it's like, to get these guys to accept any responsibility on anything, it's like dealing with, I don't know, man. It's kind of like, this is kind of the way of the world these days. It's like accountability and it is out the window. And it's all about assigning blame, even if it's not on the right person. It's just, you have to assign blame somewhere, So it's like, instead of just saying, let's get a solution, it's all about who's right and who's wrong. And, Apple can't even admit when they're wrong, which is sad, man, because I always thought that Apple, to me, and when I've been building my businesses over the years, has always been one of the better companies out there. As far as customer service goes, either an Apple guy or a PC guy. Some people use both, right? But it's like, why is Apple more expensive? Some people think it's the cool designs and stuff like that, which I could care less about, right? But for me, it's always been that you call Apple and you get help. And it's like you don't get transferred around the world. You get help right away. And it's like if you live in a city where there's an Apple store, which these days is most cities except for the one that I live in, right? You just bring your computer into the store and some kid, some 14-year-old kid fixes it, right? And, it says a few things that you don't understand. He comes back, the computer's fixed, and all good, right? But I don't know, this company has lost its way, and we'll go into more detail about the condescending tone that these people have. And, I rarely say things like this about people. I know that I'm not not always the nicest person in the world. I know it's hard for some people to believe. And I know that I'm not always the most patient person in the world. But I'll tell you one thing. I rarely say something to somebody on the phone, and I didn't say it to the Apple people, but, if they call me back or ask me why, there's a reason why you're on that end of the phone and I'm surfing and playing golf every day and living in Maui. There's a reason, and it's called your attitude stinks. Speaking about stink attitudes, let's bring in Steve Monahan. Let's see what's going on today with Steve. not much going on in the world of sports. Steve, your attitude stinks.
Hey, it's not the first time you've told me that, Mitchell.
Anyways, not much going on in sports. I expected to hear an NBA announcement by today. I expected that we were going to be, say a lot of things in line with hockey. I thought that hockey by now would be saying, okay, here are the days that we're going to start, and here it is. And maybe hockey thinks that it's going to be just a very quick thing, because now the teams are practicing, they are ready to go, except for the Tampa Bay Lightning and Rob Brindamore. But, Major League Baseball, hemming and hawing, but they said Tuesday. So we're going to give them till Tuesday because we know it's going to be Monday at 11:59, at night Eastern time. Or, maybe they'll use us, Hawaiian, because we're the last one on the calendar, right? So they'll come all the way to, they'll give themselves another 6 hours. It's kind of like a tech project, right? The tech project, is supposed to be ready on Sunday. That means next Wednesday, right? Absolutely. And it's like, what's going on with these guys? It's like, yeah, they're cutting minor leaguers, but is this like a furlough, kind of like, a lot of employees out there, people that, are employed, where it's like, a lot of people, my friends that work at the hotels here in Maui, where it's like they're furloughed, or they were let go, but it's not like they don't have their job back. It's just there's no job right now for them to come to. So it's more beneficial to everybody for them to be let go. They're going when they get their job back, they're going to have their same seniority, they're going to have their same years of service, they're going to have all of those things. But just over this period, it's probably more beneficial for them. And for a minor leaguer who doesn't make Verlander money,
right?
It might be more beneficial. Steve, what's your take on this?
Well, the headline is that, they cut, I don't know, a few hundred kids or something. But, at the end of spring training, you got multiple levels of minor leaguers. And every spring training, kids are cut, reassigned, et cetera, et cetera. So
you tell Snell the world needs Grubhub drivers too.
Yeah, exactly.
And believe me, I have more respect for the Grubhub drivers than a baseball player that is Latrell Sprewelling us like
yeah, exactly. But these are the kids that are for the love of the game. These are the guys that my nephew actually got up to Double-A ball with the Baltimore Orioles as a catcher, and he knew at age 20, he was probably 25, 26, where he knew the dream was going to end, and but it's for the love of the game. There's many minor league kids that now they're not getting paid right now, but they'll still pursue their dream. But for the big show, Major League Baseball, yeah, it'll be Tuesday, and we'll get an update, and I'm sure it's part of the negotiation process we talked about. But they better come to an agreement soon, because the clock is ticking, as we said. Sounds like hockey is on the verge of coming back. And the NBA, I think they're ahead of Major League Baseball, too. So, let's hope it comes back. I mean, June is on Monday, so, it should be a month out that the season starts, or less than a month for at least hockey and the NBA. Let's hope.
If I were a betting man, which I've been known to be called that before, I would say that neither side in the Major League Baseball negotiation is going to come back to the table on Tuesday and say, yeah, you know what, you guys are right. Okay. It's like that's not going to happen. But,
it's just going to be another percent. They'll throw out another split percentage or whatever it is, and then. But again, the clock is ticking to beat a dead horse, but. It is, and
I think with these soccer leagues,
there's a possibility they just don't even play.
We talk about the big money that the NBA players make, and those guys want to play, right? And it's like they've made nothing, no qualms about it. They want to play. The NBA players voted; they want to play.
Sure.
Lillard says, and he claims this was taken out of context, and I like that he says this was taken out of context, because this isn't what I said or believe. Lillard said, if I don't have a chance of making the playoffs, I don't want to play, is what he was quoted as saying. He did obviously said that if they quoted him as saying that, but it was taken in the context of, hey, we're 3.5 games out of the last playoff spot, and there's games left to play. If I don't have a chance to make up that gap, how am I supposed to be engaged in this? You know, it's like we've played ourselves into position. You know, there was a few teams, and the Hornets were kind of, all season long, kind of not the Hornets, the Grizz were kind of all season long. I mean, they drafted second overall last year. They took Morant, and they exceeded expectations. We were on the Grizzlies a ton. We made a lot of money with the Grizzlies because when we got them on the money line as dogs, big points, and they played way, way above that. Meanwhile, the Pelicans were playing their best basketball of the season. They had gotten Zion Williamson. They had kind of gelled as a team before they got Zion. They started the season really poorly, looked like the Pelicans, who had drafted number 1 overall. Right. They were playing poorly to start the season. They came together, and they have a great core of young talent that they got from the Lakers, right? They got some. Yeah. They really did. I mean, yeah, you lost the better player, and over the short term, that's going to hurt. But over the long term, you got Brandon Ingram. I mean, you got a boatload of draft choices. You got a lot to work with because they're going to have their own draft choices plus the Lakers draft choice. So even though it's going to be
the Pelicans,
even though it's a late, it's going to obviously be a late draft choice that they get. It could be the last draft choice of the first round. It could be the second to last. It's the Lakers could make the finals. It's going to be in the last 4 or 5 picks, right? More than likely. But they get that for a few years, and on top of that, though you're drafting at the end of the first round, the NBA draft is pretty deep, because you have guys, or a lot of early guys coming out, right? So it's like you have the NBA draft gets deep, and there are guys taken late in the first round or even beyond that are pretty good. So
sure.
I'd say there's way more guys in the late. You look at the G League, and it's like I know every guy on every roster, right? Because these are our college guys that we followed for years. It's like, G League. It's like I love the G League because these are all my guys, that I rooted for, that won me money. But it's I think that what Lillard basically was saying though is that he wants to play in meaningful games. It's like, I don't want to play in non-meaningful games, especially since it's not fair that I wouldn't play in meaningful games.
And plus, Damian Lillard is a pretty intelligent, well-spoken kid too. He's got this rap career. He's got a rap career. He's a smart kid.
He's a borderline Hall of Famer at
he's
this.
Really good.
At this point in his career, I think if Cliff Harris in NFL makes the Hall of Fame, I think this guy's a Hall of Famer in the NBA. To be honest with you, I would say Lillard is a better basketball player than Cliff Harris ever was for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I'd go out to say I'd be willing to stand behind that.
Yeah. And then the only other NBA news I just saw was kind of rumors about Bradley Beal that Brooklyn is looking. I don't even know what that means. I mean, I don't think they could trade now, right? Things like that. Maybe they can. I'm not sure.
I think the trade deadline has come and gone.
But I don't know. I don't know if they'll have a window where if you want to make some roster moves and move some pieces around, you may have a.
If you do get Bradley Beal, then next season you're looking at Durant, Beal, and Kyrie all on the same team, which is a good team. But
that's a good 3-headed there. Yeah.
But we know the Nets. It's like this is a team that just trades their first round draft choices like it's going out of style. I mean, it's like, how about if we give you like a Kevin Garnett with nothing left in the tank and Paul Pierce for your first round picks for the next, 14 years? Okay. I'm in.
Right.
It's like these are the guys that it's a historic situation here. Where it's like, let's draft Derek Coleman and see how much weight he can put on. It's like Derek Coleman goes to negotiate his contract, and his agent, his number one thing that he wants, it's not the money, it's not anything else. I don't want to have to go to practice.
Right.
It's like, okay, these are
Derek's famous for the "whip the damn do" comment.
Yeah, and of course, my favorite net statistic of all time, Yinka Dare, went like 2 years without an assist. And that is just an amazing thing. It's like that's like in the records that will never be broken. Yinka Dare playing in a full, it's not like he didn't play. I mean, this guy, for the amount of minutes that he played in between assists, I mean, a ball hits you in the leg, rolls. I mean, there's a million ways to get it. You just happen to give it to a guy. The guy, it's like you're inside. You hand it to the guy lays it. I mean, there's a million ways to get an assist. Yinkadare just never could make it happen. All right, I'm going to bring in the puck dogs. Steve, we'll see you in just a bit for the sim picks, but we're going to bring in. Oh, I'm doubled on there. Oh, boy. What happened there? Okay. That's what the webcam looks like. This is what the webcam looks like. And this is what my camera looks like. So there's the difference between the Apple killer webcam and the Sony a6400 with a Sigma lens. Anyways, we got Rod Zawacki. We got Chris Ruffalo here with us. Chris, the big question today, Chris was on the phone with me on Skype on a video call as I was making my way around the golf course yesterday morning. How was my swing? Is it up to snuff? Was my elbow flying a little bit? Or
I was impressed. I hadn't seen you golf before, but I was impressed. It's nice to know someone can hit off the man tees.
How about the ability to talk while I'm golfing? Just talk right through it, taking, knocking 3 woods off the fairway 200 plus. in mid-sentence.
And I'm like stopping. I'm like, I don't want to interrupt his swing, but then you start going. And I'm like, oh, okay.
It's like most people. It's like when you talk during their swing, they go nuts. It's like me. I'm talking right through it. Like I hit on hole number 5 when I was talking to Chris. I hit a hybrid. I just smoked it mid-sentence. It was a little bit of a push, but we flopped it onto the green, knocked in the par. Then on 8, I had nailed my drive, and they tucked the pin in behind the bunker there on the back left. So we just aimed right for the middle of the green. We 2-putted and got out of there. But there was a guy, it's like, I don't know how many of you golf out there, but there was a guy who was basically up my ass. I mean, he was like, it's like if you're driving, the guy who just tailgates you, you speed up and they speed up, they stay right in sync with you. I mean, this guy is like, and I even offered, I said, you want to play through? Because I knew I was talking to Chris, so it was going to take me a little bit longer to play. And you just say, yeah, you want to play through, whatever. There's no one behind him. So anyways, yeah, that was pretty much it. But I believe, as sad as it is to say, I think my days of playing the true public golf courses like that might be coming to an end. I think I might be just with our local club, the really nice one. They've asked me to join, and normally I'm not that guy, but I think in this case I'm gonna be. These guys are overwatering where I normally play, so it's a muddy track in the morning. Also, it's like there's some nice things about joining a club. I can leave my clubs there, and I can do a lot more with the show. I'll have a lot more flexibility with the time because I can make better tee times, and stuff like that. I can surf before I golf, and it's like I don't have to worry about getting to the course, or else it's going to be a 5-hour round because it's a private club that they don't let other people in there, and of course it's impeccable. But I called to inquire about it, and the head pro came to my house yesterday. So they invited me to come play around today, and we'll see. But I think if I do join the club, we will have to take bets on the over-under on how long before I get my first disciplinary. You get 3 disciplinary strikes, like it's in the paperwork, and then at the 3rd one, they can suspend or cancel your membership.
Golf detention.
I told him I was seriously concerned. I was seriously concerned about this. And he told me not to worry about it. I said, we'll see. Anyways, speaking of action, Chase Elliott, a winner on the Oval last night. Back-to-back nights. He finds the winner's circle. Big money there. Rod had him. It was one of Rod's picks, right?
No, I didn't have him.
All right. Well, Rod.
I had him in the top 3, but I had Harvick to win, and I was looking good for a little bit, but then started to fall apart.
All right. But, yeah. So, I don't know. I didn't even watch this one. I wonder if ratings were down overall. I didn't watch it, so I'm going to guess other people didn't watch it either. You know, it just, I'm not saying because I didn't watch. I was on the phone with Apple, you know, for hours on end. So I didn't watch the race, but I'm going to guess other people didn't either. But we have announcements now. So we've been following the Bundesliga, and you guys have been giving picks, and we're going to do a pick in just a second. But now other leagues are saying they're going to start too. So La Liga is definitely in for it. And Serie A in? Out.
I think I saw Serie A is in for June 20th.
And the English Premier League, the big boys,
June 17th.
17th of June. So, you know, I talked to Steve a lot about the money, and, you know, I love ripping into the players and the money that they make, but nobody makes more than the soccer guys. These guys make the most. And, you know, you could say, oh, LeBron James and Michael Jordan made all this money. Their salary is peanuts compared to the soccer guys. Peanuts. Like Michael Jordan, you know, $25 million, LeBron James, you know, Tom Brady, you know, he played for less than what he could get. But even like Bryce Harper, right, who is the most ridiculous salary in all of sports today, I'd say the Bryce Harper contract is the worst contract since the Soriano contract. Fair to say. We'll ask Steve when he comes back about this. He's got some time to let it percolate there. But I think the Soriano contract could have been the worst contract ever. Well, Jacoby Ellsbury's no dream either. I mean, there's some bad contracts out there, but the English soccer guys and guys like Messi and Ronaldo, we're talking, you know, double Bryce Harper money, right? Without endorsements. We're talking like salary, 60s, you know, 70s $1 million. So, you know, obviously a lot of interest in getting back on the field for these guys, but you don't hear the soccer guys cry poverty, you know, like you hear the U.S. athletes do. At least we don't hear it, right? Anyways, Chris, what do you think about this return of international sports? And, you know, even in, you know, so I talked to a friend of mine in New York last night, and obviously having an entirely different COVID experience than I'm having, right? And same with Steve, right? When he's on, he's having an entirely different COVID experience than I'm having. I mean, we're out. We've had 2 cases in the last 2 weeks. You know, we've been out for a month. You know, it's like we're opening restaurants. You know, the beaches are open. We're all good to go. You know, picnics. You know, it's like all is fine. You know, 97% recovery rate. You know, all is well. We've had 2 cases in the last 2 weeks. 3 cases in the last 2 weeks. You know, we didn't have any spike. You know, it was the opposite. It went from flat to non-existent basically. But Canada is one of the strictest places around. I mean, they're kind of like.
We just can't include Calgary.
No.
or Quebec.
I don't know. Calgary. I don't know who those people think they are. Yeah. Who do you think you are? So I just think that with hockey opening up and with Canada opening up like that, I could see other sports, and I you know, somehow I thought that with other states and cities opening up that they would have a similar experience to what we had here, where it was like the first week or so out, you were kind of like very, very cautious, and now it's like, you know, if it's me and just a few people, you know, I don't care if you're in my house, you don't have to wear a mask here, you know, it's like we're fine. It's like we're all been quarantined, you know. It's like there's been nobody coming in or out, so it's like there's no one you could have been exposed to that has it. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Anyways,
well, I mean, for us here, I'm a half hour outside of Toronto, and all the news as soon as the restrictions were eased, there was a park and everybody was right next to each other. They were all in big groups. The mayor even forgot to put his mask on, so he had to make a public statement, a public apology that he needs to lead by example. And it's gotten to the point where our premier, our mayor of Ontario is going to say, you know what, I may have to lock this down again, because nobody's listening. Because then our numbers went right back up the first day that we eased everything. So it's about people started just actually listening and easing into it rather than just rushing to get back outside, rushing to get back into groups.
It's just their attitude. I mean,
that's just that's kind of why I was a little bit surprised to see that Serie A was. I know they're starting to ease the restrictions, but for Serie A to be jumping right back into play, I think there's still a few teams that still have positive cases on there on each squad. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything gets back up and running.
Seeing some glare there on Ric Flair. Gonna have to fix that for tomorrow's show. These are all things work in progress. Working on my colored light scheme over here. We got Chris. I know that's what we were talking about on the phone, getting his lights together. We got Steve with colored lights behind him, but I think that he might have the same problem that I'm fearing with Chris, and that is that he has too much other light going on in the room that he's in, so the light that we got him isn't powerful enough. So we either need to get him supplemental lighting on top of that, or we need to just get him a new light. We'll figure it out.
But to go back to sort of the pay cuts thing, the thing about the European soccer guys is they're actively taking pay cuts. Like they're offering to take pay cuts. Where you got guys like Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo saying, "Here, I'll scale back to 70%," or even some guys are taking 30% of their salary to sort of help mitigate the losses that COVID was presenting.
But for Cristiano Ronaldo, a 70% pay cut is $18 million a year.
Yeah. So it's
more than that.
Oh no, it's way
no. That he would be making.
Oh, yeah.
More than that. Even at 70%, he's going to make $30 million a year.
Right.
He's at $109 million a year.
But that's it with endorsements, not in salary. He doesn't make $109.
I think he's earning about $500,000 a week.
I thought his salary was about 68
million a year minus endorsements.
I thought his salary was about 68 in the 65 to 68 range. Right.
65, 68.
Right. So 30% of that is 19 million.
Yeah.
10% is 6. 10% is 6.8 times 3, 18 plus 2. So it's actually 20.4.
Yeah, that's okay, because I still have 44 million in endorsements coming in, so I'm still making 66 million for the year. Yeah, I'll take a 70% pay cut.
Yeah,
a little different than a baseball guy.
Oh, I understand all this stuff, but I think that the baseball guys, there has to be a fairness, as to a renegotiation of basically, coming to a place where saying, based upon the revenue, this will be the player's cut to be divided in this manner. And I think we need to get to that point. I think most people agree that for the baseball players to take a set amount and then all of a sudden the TV revenue triples and the owners get to keep all of that extra money, that's not fair. And we all agree that if the owners are paying the players, as if there were fans in the stands and they don't receive any other additional revenue than what they thought they were going to get, then these teams are going to fold. That's what will happen. We haven't had a team fold in a long time. But believe me, there used to be teams that folded. Okay? Teams used to fold. Leagues, now it's leagues fold. The XFL has folded. But back in the day, there was hockey teams that folded. There was a team called the Seals. Didn't they fold? Yeah. And what about the Breakers? They folded. Yeah. Teams folded. It's like, I could see, if the baseball players had their way all the way here, these teams will fold. And it won't be the Yankees won't fold. It'll be the Brewers. It'll be the Twins. And it will be, the small market teams, the Pirates, Cincinnati Reds,
the Royals.
These will be the teams. The The Cardinals aren't good
Hold
at
on, Seattle.
Seattle. Yeah, Seattle. These will be the teams that fold. They'll be, back to the days, The Miami Floridians, folded. We had the Florida Breakers, but they never even made it there. A lot of people, they don't even know these stories. They have no idea what I'm talking about, and that's okay. Because they never have seen when Bob McAdoo played for the Buffalo Braves. See, back in the day, the ABA, teams didn't, the league didn't fold. Teams within the league folded, and they moved all the time. So, like, the Buffalo Braves became the Miami Floridians. But they had to trade Bob McAdoo in the process to stay afloat because they couldn't afford him. So it was, things of that nature. Anyway, speaking of Bundesliga, what do we got?
Well, today's game, you got Bayer Leverkusen and Freiburg. I'm gonna hop back on Leverkusen.
Buddy, Freiburg, come on!
I'm hopping back on Leverkusen here. I'm done with Freiburg. They couldn't get the result against Frankfurt. Bayer's one of the hottest teams in the league. So
anyone ever call them Freiburg? And then like someone got it confused that they were screaming Freebird? It's like that's what happened. That's what happened with me. Freebird.
I don't think Freiburg's hanging here, so I'm going to take Bayer and
love Skinner.
Bayer Leverkusen. I think Bayer Leverkusen and under 3.5 goals at plus 175, and the last 4 meetings combined have seen 4 total goals, so I'll take Bayer also to win and under 2.5 at plus 420.
There may be 20 bands out there that I could say, all right, play me 25 songs of this band, and I could sit through the whole thing. And Skinner is one of them. Stone, Skinner, Led Zeppelin. It's Hendrix. There's only a few that I could make it through. Grateful Dead. I mean, there's only a handful that I can make it through. And Skinner definitely one of them. Freeberg.
You're taking Freeberg?
Well, I like Free Bird. I don't know. I'm not taking anybody. I don't know. I don't even know who's. I got as much chance of winning this. I got a better chance at the sim games, and I don't even know who the hell's playing.
I'll take Leverkusen money line.
One thing that people can say whatever they want about me over the years. One thing I've never done is tried to be an expert at a sport that I don't know. I get emails all the time, NHL, all the stuff. People ask me NHL on the show. That's how these guys ended up. That's how you end up with these guys. It is. You get people asking you for enough times for NHL picks. It's like I'm not going to give them because I have no idea what I'm doing. It's like I learned from these guys when they started doing the show. Then I could have an opinion, but it was after doing the show with them on a daily basis for months. It's like I don't know anything about hockey. I grew up in Miami. We didn't have a team.
Not lots of ice in Miami.
No, I hadn't. In college, I went. In college, I went to school in a hockey town, and that was really the first time I'd ever seen live hockey. I had been to a Hartford Whalers game one time a long time ago, and then in college we had a great hockey team at Boston University, so I went to a lot of those games, and then I had a good friend of ours was a big Bruins fan, so I would go occasionally to a Bruins game here or there, just to see Terry O'Reilly get his ass kicked, which happened, and Mike Milbury. Oh my God, did that guy get pummeled? Anyways,
so take Leverkusen. We're not taking no Freeberg here. No Freeberg. I'm also gonna take a shot with the final score of 2-1 plus 1,200.
Chris?
So, yeah, for me, for that one, it's Leverkusen and under 3.5 and 2.5.
All right.
For Saturday, do you want to do Saturday's games?
Well, I think those games are later, right? They're 2:30 starts, or
no, they're all 9:30.
7:30 a.m.
How many of those? Are all of them?
4.
All right, let's do them.
Hoffenheim against Mainz. I'm taking Hoffenheim I mean, Mainz need the points too, but Hoffenheim's probably getting their top scorer back and Andre Kremerich, and Mainz has their backup goalie in net. Their starting goalie's out right now, and he's allowing 3 goals per 90 minutes this season. So I'll take Hoffenheim to win.
Where's my Hassenpfeffer?
Hoffenheim? Give us some Hoffenheim. We like Hoffenheim here. Plus 135.
And the next one, Werder Bremen against Schalke. I'm not touching Schalke with a 10-foot pole. On a 10-game winless streak, I'll take Werder Bremen plus 185. I think they need the points to get out of that relegation zone. And they've won the last 3 on the road against Schalke, so I'll take Bremen.
Rod?
This stands for a draw in soccer. So the big X. Give me the draw, Schalke.
Definitely
Plus 230.
Well. Next one, Wolfsburg against Frankfurt. I'll take Wolfsburg. I'm not touching Frankfurt either. I don't want anything to do with Eintracht Frankfurt.
They couldn't even beat Freiburg.
They went down 3-1 to Freiburg. So
yeah. So give me Wolfsburg here too as well.
And the last one, Hertha Berlin and Augsburg. This is where I'm taking the draw. 2 teams are in that purgatory zone I keep talking about, where they're not going for Europa, but they're probably not get relegated.
Even I know these teams stink. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know nothing about this. Just these teams are no good.
Yeah, they're probably going to finish not too far off from where they are right now in that 10 to 13 range. So I'll take the draw here at plus 280.
I'm insulted by this contest.
Yeah, me too. So I'm not betting it.
For me,
I'm insulted by the product.
I'll do a bird cage here. I got Wolfsburg, Werder Bremen, and Leverkusen all to win money line at plus 819.
All right.
And I'll take Schalke, draw, Hoffenheim, and Wolfsburg. I don't know the odds offhand.
All right. Bring back.
They should be pretty good at plus 230, plus 135, and a minus 110. So
we'll bring back Steve Monahan here. Steve, Soriano contract I was talking about with the guys. How bad was that one?
That's right up at the top of Mount Everest.
He got the same money.
I'll give you another one.
He got the same. He got the same deal as A-Rod. Soriano.
Right.
He got the same deal as A-Rod. Same deal.
I would say Chris Davis of the Baltimore Orioles contract is such an albatross in them.
Oh, absolutely. Hideous. Hideous.
I still remember the Bobby Bonilla contract where he's getting paid.
No, he's still getting paid.
But
paid once a year.
I will tell you, I think it's over, the Bonilla payment. It's either over this year or next year.
Yeah,
but
it's about a year. I think actually 2 more years.
But here's the thing about Bonilla. Way better player than the other guys that we're discussing. Way better player.
Yeah.
Way better. I mean, way better. At least he earned the money. He also took a pay cut to
to defer all
he took a deferred. So it's not like, it was as horrible of a contract. Here's a guy that probably played, he played for market value, and instead of getting overpaid like most people did, he took that overpayment to be paid later. So I don't have as much of a problem with the Bonilla contracts as I do with Jacoby Ellsbury accepting that paycheck.
Yeah. Yep, I agree with that.
I just do. What about, you remember teams that folded? When teams used to
brought
fold?
up the California Seals. That was early 70s, right?
Yeah.
Like 1970 or something.
How about the Florida Breakers hockey team?
Right? Yeah. That's an obscure one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like the ABA teams folded before the merger, things like that.
Yeah, but before the merger, teams were folding. And it was
the Kentucky Colonels.
Yep.
Dan Issel was on that team. And
Colonels, definitely. The teams that came out of the ABA were the Pacers, the Nets, the Nuggets, and the Spurs.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yep. Everyone else blended in.
Used to be basketball in Seattle too. When the Sonics fold.
No, the Sonics moved.
Oh, and they moved.
They moved.
Oklahoma City, they are now.
Yeah, teams don't fold now; they just move because there's demand. You know, back then it was a different story. You know, this Super Bowl, you know, the
Grizzlies, right?
I have this Raiders pennant, you know, from the Super Bowl. You know, the stadium was like a third full for that game.
Yeah. I wanted to bring one thing up of note. You know, Mitch and I, you know, I think our audience knows we both went to Boston University, but yesterday, you know, the Boston Marathon, first time canceled in 124 years. And, you know, I saw that news, you know, for Mitch and I, you know, for 4 years, that was one great day in early April.
In Boston, a lot of businesses, schools, things like that, they close on Marathon Day. It's Patriots Day, and they close. It's the first Monday in April or third Monday in April. They close Boston. Most businesses.
The Red Sox typically play either
at 10 a.m.
or 11 o'clock.
Yeah, like 10 a.m. Right, and they run right through Kenmore Square, like the lead runners are gone, you know, by the time the game would be getting out, but the bulk of the runners are coming right through Kenmore Square right when the game's coming out. So it's like you have all these, you know, fans there, and that's why it's always this giant crowd in Kenmore Square. And it's just a great day, and it's a big party, you know. I don't know if they, you know, obviously they probably reeled the rules in a little bit. I think there's also like a crew race in Boston called Head of the Charles, and I believe that we personally took part in some of the law changes revolving around around that event. Yeah, it's like they say you can bring a cooler. We show up with, you know, we brought
the beer truck.
We showed up with enough beer to fill you know, Fenway Park and the Boston Garden. You know, it's like enough to service them for a couple of games. Made a lot of friends that day and a couple enemies too. I think a Mets hat got burned, if I remember correctly. It was a burning of a Mets hat by Red Sox people. It was just
it's very possible. They played the World Series 1986 when
we
were going there, so that makes perfect sense.
I think that's where the term shit show was developed. It was an outright shit show. It's like, I remember somebody saying, you know, a couple of years later, they're like, yeah, we're at Head of the Charles. We run into Mitch, and he's got 45 kegs of beer sitting on the side of the thing. It's like, you know, it could have happened. Anyways, let's get to some simulated football action. Who won yesterday, Chris?
See, yesterday, the Vikings beat the Redskins by 10. I don't remember the line on that.
11, game. I believe. Or it was either 9 or 11. It was right in there.
I thought it was 9.5.
All right, I got Vikings in that one.
The Vikings, yeah. The 49ers appropriately beat the Titans 49-20.
Lost that one.
2-0.
Saints beat the Bucks 42-23.
Got that one.
And the Seahawks covered against the Rams 33-22.
I'm getting better at these sim picks. I'm 3-1. I went
4-0.
Yeah, I went through a lot of 3-1, 2-2s. But I'll tell you, I've been, you know, the last week or so, I've been 3-1, 3-1, 3-1 almost every day. So it's a good time for me to eat my words. Let's see how brutal I can be in my simulated picks played by computers today.
The 12 Eastern Raiders minus 6.5 at the Bengals.
I'll go with the Raiders.
Oof, this is a bad game.
I'll take the Raiders.
I'm going to go with the Bengals at home.
I'm going to take the Bengals. They're playing in the rain.
3 Eastern, Dallas minus 7 against the Browns.
Browns are good at this game, right? So I'm going to take the Browns.
I'm going to go Cowboys.
I like the over 56.5. 7 Eastern, Packers minus 7.5 against the Cardinals.
Packers are good at this game too. I'll take the Pack.
I'll take the Cardinals plus 7.5.
I'll go Cardinals.
Take the Cardinals as well. And at 10 Eastern, 49ers minus 6.5 against the Falcons.
On the back-to-back, I'll take the 49ers.
I'll take
Niners.
The Niners.
On the back-to-back. Anyone resting? Anyone taking some load management there in that Niners game?
Not as far as I can see on the injury report.
All right. Well, there you have it. It's been another one of those shows. Hopefully, I think, when you have light news days like today, probably tomorrow we have something to talk about. Of course, if there is breaking news, we'll have a special show live later on if the NBA decides to say something, or Major League Baseball, or anybody. Hockey comes out with a firm schedule. We'll come on live shortly after that's announced and talk about it quickly. But outside of that, have a great day, everyone. Tampa Bay Lightning.
Florida Panthers on this hockey sim pick.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Rod, go ahead.
Minnesota Wild at Florida Panthers. Take the Panthers at home here. And the over 7.5. I think we're going to see a whole pile of goals. Two teams that goalies aren't so good. We're going to see some goals.
All right. There you have it. The Florida Panthers and the over. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. Like I said, if we're going to have any news, anything exciting, we'll come back and update it. I can't wait to really be giving out, NBA and baseball and basketball picks, and really what the show has been about all these years. We're just kind of going through the motions, trying to, work on things, and, hopefully you're seeing some improvements. I think the show's only going to get better and better, and by the time we're ready to go full steam again, and we appreciate everyone who's been a part of it. But anyways, have a great day, everyone. Tampa Bay Lightning, suck it, baby. Have a great day.